Hi. Sorry about that. Hey, I'm Blake. I'm the product specialist for the synthesizer department here. A little bit of technical difficulties at the beginning, and I don't really know why, but sometimes that's how it works with everybody having different internet connections and everything. But here's what's going to happen. I'm going to talk about Montage today. I'm going to talk about, I'm good. I'm getting all the text messages from all my friends. Thank you so much. So Kraft music, you know, I love Kraft music. I've been out there, done many videos out at their amazing facilities out there with, you know, really good friends of mine that work there. They're just awesome. In fact, I know that Adam Bergowski, right? He's doing the Modi X on the 27th. That's going to be a giveaway. Kraft music is really cool because guys like Adam work there. And it's part of the reason why they have such cool bundles. Their bundles are put together by professional musicians that know what musicians need. And that's, you know, it's just such a great company. And I just, as you know, you've probably seen my videos up there, and they're just awesome. So without any further ado, sorry, we're starting a little late. But I'm going to go ahead and move to this cool screen here. And I'm going to play a song for you. It's about 5 minutes long, but I figured that that way we can figure out if everything's sounding right, too. I'm going to turn my mic down. Hey, thank you. I hope there was clapping. I wonder if anybody actually heard that. Let me see, because I did get some. You're stereo on Facebook Live. Yes, I am stereo on Facebook Live. That's awesome. Okay, so, hi, Montage. What did you just hear? Well, first of all, this is a song that I put together inside the new pattern sequencer that was added in OS version 3.5. And I'll talk a little bit about that moving forward. So what you heard was obviously the piano right here. Let me get to the first part. Ooh, right here. So drums, bass, and then of course the cool guitar. Because keyboard players like playing guitar sounds. Anyway, everything I did was inside, created with the pattern sequencer of this instrument. So I wanted to start with that. Now what you're seeing here is what's called a performance. A performance is the only mode in Montage that makes sound. So what is a performance? A performance can be a multi-timbral construction with different musical instruments like you just heard right there. It can be a single sound, a whole string section. A single part can be a sound in itself. Multiple parts can be layered. They can be components of individual instruments. I'll show you some of that going forward. But that's the main mode of the Montage, is performance mode. So let's get a lay of the land here and what you see in front of you. Basically, Montage has on this side right here, and I think I might be a little laggy, so sorry about that. This side right here is the control side. So you see knobs and faders. Each of the knobs have these cool LEDs around them. There's also little LEDs right next to the faders, so you can always tell at a glance what level things are set at on the instrument. You have different settings, tone control, EQ, control of the ARP, the A to D input, because there is a stereo A to D input on this instrument, buttons that are for scenes that allow you to change kind of the configuration of what's being played. A scene can be a split or a layer, or it can bring in a different arpeggio, and so on. So let's just call this control on this side, control of your music, control of the sound. Over on this side, you have all these buttons over here. So this would, what I would call navigation. So you can find sounds over here, you can select sounds. These buttons actually change their function depending on what area you're in, but it's very straightforward, very easy to see what's happening here. You can see right across here, for example, I selected track, or rather part 7, which is right here, and 7 is here. If I go here, I'm selecting part 1. Touch the top, it says home right here. I love the performance home button because it doesn't matter where you're at in the instrument. If you're lost somewhere and you don't know where you're at in here, where am I? You just hit performance home, it takes you home. So that's a basic lay of the land of the instrument you see, the Montage. Next thing I want to talk about is the concept of this instrument. So what is Montage? Montage has two synthesizer engines inside. One of them uses a sample-based engine that's called AWM2. If you're familiar with the Motif XF series, right, that was all AWM2, so it was a sample-based instrument. The difference between that instrument and this one, other than lots of things, the biggest thing is there's about 8 times the wave ROM in Montage, so there's way more just samples and sounds, really great emulative sounds in that area, pianos, strings, brass instruments, that kind of stuff. But there's also a great synthesizer engine within the AWM2 that has 18 filter types, envelope generators, LFOs, and so on. So that's one part of it. The other part is FM-X. This is a pure synthesizer, FM synthesizer engine. 8 operator, 88 algorithm, and you can do some really cool things, and I'm just about to show you a brand new addition to the FM synthesizer in this instrument. The other thing that's in here that I always want to talk about, and sometimes I forget, but the DSP in this instrument is incredible. There's lots and lots of different effects. There are effects that go from reverb, chorus, delays, but there's also more esoteric, cool ones that, like the spiralizer effect, which maybe I'll show you that later on. That was an effect that was added in one of the OS updates, and among others. There's just tons of cool effects in here. Speaking of OS updates, this the Montage and its little sibling, the MoDX, and I'll talk a little bit about that too, but it's a platform-based synthesizer, so OS updates really add new features going forward. It's part of how it's like an organism. So think about this. Since we released Montage, I'm going to count them out that I can remember. 1.10, 1.5, 1.6, 2.0, 2.5, right? I'm missing one in here. I know I am. 2.5, 3.0, 3.5. So this is either the 7th or the 8th, if I'm forgetting one, OS update for this instrument. So each time we add new things, and some of the stuff that we add, like that pattern sequencer, the fact that I sequenced that entire song you just heard inside the pattern sequencer, that was an OS update. And it was an OS update that was based on listening to customers. People wanted to have a pattern sequencer. When we originally released this product, there wasn't a real pattern sequencer in it, but people wanted it, so we added it. Very cool. But there's another cool thing that added in this, and that's where I'm going to start right here, is this new update for the FM-X engine. So what I'm going to talk about here, I'm going to kind of move around a little bit between synthesizer sounds and more emulative sounds. Because one of the cool things inside the manual that actually says this, there's a statement from the developers that they said, Montage wasn't really designed for a specific type of musician. Like, it's not just a digital piano, although it has great pianos in it. So it's not just for pianists. It also has a cool synth engine in it. So it's for lots of different types of musicians. And I'm going to go over to the synth side real quick to show you something that's brand new that we just added in this OS version 3.5 update. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's talk about Smart Morph. A little bit of talking. So what Smart Morph is they added a machine learning, a part of AI, artificial intelligence, to create new sounds using the FM-X engine. That's basic understanding. Now, if you're familiar with Montage, if I touch the Performance Home, I get a different view of what's happening in the screen. So in this case, this sound called Interstellar FM, it is an FM sound. That's what I see from here. And when I hit this view, you can see it in the screen where it said View 2, and I'm pointing at it right there, and you can see it in the screen as well. This gives me a different information. It shows me that there's actually 4 parts right here that have stuff in them. We're going to talk about that in a second. But if I hit it again, I can either touch here. Another thing I love about Montage is convenient redundancy. So a button and what happens in the screen, they can do the same thing. So wherever your hand is, you get this cool screen. What is this cool screen I have here? This is Smart Morph. So check this out. I'm just going to play this sound real quick. So this is all FM. Now check this out when I move around inside the screen here, this little Smart Morph pad here. It's just super cool. So I'm literally morphing between this in this FM-X sound on this pad. How am I doing that? Well, let's take a look here. Over on the left-hand side of the screen, you see these different areas here: motion control, mixing. These were all in the previous OS update, but they added one more in here that's called Smart Morph. And I'll go at the play screen here so you can see the pad here. What is Smart Morph? Well, let me touch edit. Smart Morph takes individual FM sounds and places them in parts 9 through 16. So right now you see 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13 through 16 right now, there's nothing in those. I can add more sounds if I want, but currently there's nothing in there. And what it does is you can see the sounds that are in these parts. And if I select them just like this, you notice I selected over here. It showed up when I select. So I can directly play this sound. Kind of a cool musical effect, electronic. Cool sound. Another one here is this FM-X electronic. Another one here. Another type of sound like that. So these different sounds, right? And what happened here was you put them in these slots in here, and the Smart Morph uses this machine learning to take a look at these sounds. They analyze them. In fact, you can see what it chose here. It selects different parameters in this auto mode and makes intelligent decisions to create a morphed composite sound. So check this out. I have it already in here with this sound, and then I can move around inside this pad, and what it does is it takes the result of the Smart Morph and places it in part 1, which is right up here. And then you can use that to interact with it and move around inside this 32 by 32 grid. So you basically have 32 times 32, right? 1,024 different locations that are composites wherever you touch. Now you notice that there's these white little button or dots in here. If I touch, the blue is me right here. See that? You can see that, right? So I'll touch on this white one here for this. Let's go to the synth digital comp here. If I get right on that sound, that's closest to the sound that's in that position here. But if I go down here, that's closest to the sound that's in this position, that musical effect sound. Now anything in between, that's where the morph happens. And it creates sounds like really cool, interesting sounds, basically sounds in FM that I've never really heard before, but they're cool, they're musical, they do stuff. Now check this out. If I want to try something different, I can run Smart Morph again by just touching Learn. And I love this, that it's still, you can still play while it's doing its Smart Morph. And what you'll see here, you'll see a different screen. See, it did a new Smart Morph, and it'll be a different kind of variation of the combination of those sounds. Hear how it changes just by touching. Now, let's say I like this sound here. If I like that sound, I literally have to go Store, and I'll store it as a new performance, and I'll call it Interstella. I was going to name it Kraft, but I stored it that fast. Super easy to create new sounds. Very cool. Now, let's say I want to add another kind of texture to this Smart Morph. I can just literally go over to a part here, and let's say I want to grab, how about we try something, I don't know, how about a chromatic percussion kind of sound, right? So I dropped into the category search here to find something like FM marimba. There it is right here. So this sound here just adds a little bit of a, let's find out what happens when I touch Learn. So you're hearing the sound I'm playing directly, and it's doing another Smart Morph. So I added that and put that into the Smart Morph recipe that it's going to create here. And it's done. It says right here, ETA 1 second, and here's my new sound. totally different sound. Oh, there's a cool one there. See, that sound right there I can use. Store. This time I'll do this correctly. Store's new performance. Rather than hit done, I'll call it Kraft. I'll be a little bit less aggro in my selection. Now, there's my new sound. Interstellar Kraft. Just right there. And it is an Interstellar Kraft. So I've created this new Smart Morph. Really cool. So now, let me take a step back here. You saw Smart Morph. Now let's take a look a little bit at the real estate you have here. What I like to show is some of the buttons that are key to understanding this product. Where I'm in right now is called a live set. And what a live set is a collection of performances. So performance is your main area where you interact, and it's sort of the main play screen. Live set is a collection of up to 16 performances that I can get to very quickly. And then you saw me drop into category search. I want to briefly talk about category search. When I was using category search there, I was using what's called performance merge. I can look into the category search area and grab parts and add things or whatever. But category search is really cool if you're just first time in front of Montage and you want to just look at, I don't know, keyboard sounds. There they are. And I want to look at electric piano sounds. And now I have a selection of electric piano sounds that I have in front of me, and I've selected them. There's your electric piano. So that's category search in there. In fact, let's just stick with that right now. And I'm going to go back to the live set. But basically, that's sort of what you're seeing here. You're seeing kind of how I'm moving through. Now, I talked about this is navigation over here. When I'm in live set mode, these buttons now allow me to select individual sounds in the live set. And you see them. Hardware buttons. This is kind of cool if you don't want to use the touchscreen to do this, but either way. But here I am. I can also use the touchscreen to select it too. Again, that's that convenient redundancy. Again, this is navigation on this side. So just a real quick little. Now I'm going to come back in. Let's play a few more of these Smart Morphs, just so you can hear. They're just super cool. I just love the uniqueness of this engine. And I should make a point here. Montage, there's some differences between Montage and Mode EX, definitely. Solid metal chassis, for one thing, on Montage. Different action, aftertouch on this keyboard. All of these buttons over here. But where it counts, it is the same. So all these sounds that you're hearing here, you can get in a Mode EX as well. And I should make a point here. If you're listening, you better watch on the 27th, because I believe that Kraft is going to give away a Mode EX during Adam's clinic. Adam from Kraft will be doing that clinic. You don't want to miss that. That's a giveaway. That's an awesome giveaway. So anyway, just wanted to mention that here, and I'll probably mention it at the end here. So here, let's grab a few more. Here's a sound here. Another way to use Smart Morph. This is my friend Dom Segalis, who decided to make a cool bass using Smart Morph. And check it out as I move this way. More percussive, more slappy. Definitely slappy there. Again, if you find something you like, you just literally touch on the screen just like this. Oh, I like that one. Again, Store FM Bass Gallery XL. Store is a new performance. XL2. Boom. Done. Done. Just like that. You can create sounds without knowing a whole lot about FM, which is really awesome. And it not only creates sound, the AI in this instrument creates sounds like I've never heard before kind of thing. So it's really, really cool that this was added. I'll play just one more here, and then I'm going to move on and go back to... So this one actually has super knob auto. You can automate the super knob so it moves on its own. If I want to stop it, there's a little motion sequence hold down here that stops it in its place. Now you notice the super knob here. So you can see exactly what the super knob is. Quick definition of super knob: it controls these parameters simultaneously. And you see how certain things also down here are moving in different directions. So not only can you assign this to control things, you can have it control things in different ways. As a filter opens, something else can close. As something goes away, something can come in. Something can come in and then fade out during just the motion of the super knob. So it's a macro controller is what it is. And you can control it just like this. I have an FC7 down here. I can control it with the FC7 on a foot controller, so I don't have to reach up and grab it. And in the case of Smart Morph, you can actually select 2 points to move between in the Smart Morph, so you can automate this. You can actually record that into a DAW and play that back, so you can automate the motions of the this Smart Morph, or of the super knob. Sorry. And check it out. I'm going to move right here. So it's going to move between these 2 points here. See? Top, all the way down. Boom. And obviously these sounds. So you can set this if you find a spot in here that's really cool. That's pretty cool. And you can automate between things like that. Pretty cool. So Smart Morph, added brand new to OS 3.5. So for synth people, this instrument delivers. So now what I want to do, I'm going to go the other direction, and let's just play some of the sounds in this instrument. Just start with pianos. The first song that I played here was this. This is the CFX Concert Grand. I use that in my song. You notice that I don't have much reverb, if any, because it has such. Now you do hear a damper pedal resonance in there. Listen. Can grab the. So that's the CFX. Now another thing you should know about Montage, and you hear I just switched sounds. I'll come back to that in a second. There's 1.75 gigabytes of flash memory in this instrument that you can load new sounds. And one of the sounds that you can load into this, and one of the packs actually is what we call it, is the Bosendorfer Imperial 290. So this is a different piano that's loaded into the flash memory that you can get for free, $99 value or something. Totally different piano, the Bosendorfer 290 Imperial. Now, I'm going to go back to the CFX. Now you hear that when I moved from one sound to the other, it didn't cut off the previous sound. This has seamless sound switching between performances, which is pretty cool. Like I just did there. Okay, now I want to show you something in here. This is just a single part. Now, I should point something out here. Some of these, in this case, this is a performance again, the only mode in Montage that makes sound. So this uses actually 3 separate parts to create a single sound. You have a hard strike layer, a soft strike layer, actually soft strike layer, so you can see it right there when I'm playing soft. See how that little meter's coming up? Now if I hit it harder, there's the hard strike layer, right? Now you'll see something else here when I lift my foot off the sustain pedal, and that's just a key off. So there's a little tiny little, just the sound of the key off. You want to hear it? I'll just solo it. Another cool thing about Montage is having the buttons to immediately solo a part, select a part. So here's the sound of just the key off. Super subtle. Right? So that's one way that you can use performance, which we call a single instrument multi-part performance. But I can also just play a single part and have a great piano. I actually use this piano a ton. That's why it's called Blake's CFX Stage. This also has a key off in there as well. So a single part is basically like a voice. If you're familiar with Motif XF, it would be the Motif XF voice, same kind of deal. Cool thing about this instrument too, let me go to this main, remember we talked about the view screen here. This just gives me an overview of 8 parts. These 8 parts can be set under keyboard control. That's what that's called, is when you have that little graphic in there that says that it's under keyboard and control, so I can play it. If I turn that off, well, I'm playing it directly, but if I'm at the top of the performance, you don't hear it because keyboard control is not on. So I'll turn it back on here. You can also play a part by directly selecting it, like I did here. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add, how about 2 different pad parts to this. First one I'll add is a string sound. And I'm actually going to look just at single parts. So we're going to do that right here. Single part performance. You can look in the attribute here, and you can just see single part performances. If I were to select a multi-part performance, it would try to merge all that together. And multi-part performances can be full constructs that have ARPs and all sorts of things. So generally, I like to build things like this using single parts that are, as you can see, totally playable sounds. So I'm going to select single part performance here, and I'm going to go over here to, how about strings, and we'll select ballad strings. So now I have right now I'm going to add one more here. I'll add some sort of a how about a pad choir. Let's go to choir and let's do an ooh pad. Okay, so now I have these parts, and you notice that keyboard control is on here, right? Now when I have selected the performance here, I can be in what's called part control, right? And I can just adjust how loud each of these are by selecting just like this, right? And balance them. So you have fader control right here as well. Now another cool thing that I like to do is the ability to save keyboard control in a scene. What is a scene? It's a snapshot of the performance on how it behaves. So in this first scene, maybe I just want just the piano on. In the second scene, I'll turn on piano and strings, and I'll save that actually in the third scene. And then this one will be piano and choir in 4. And then this is all of them together in 5. And I'm holding shift and touching on the scene to save this, and you'll notice that they change just like that. So if I want just the piano, here it is. Oops, let me play the top here. Now I just added the strings to it. In this scene here, now it's just piano and choir. And then the last one is all of them together. Cool. Simple. There's really, this, what we like to say about Montage and ModiX is that if you're just sort of a snorkeler, like you're over the top and you just want quick things to do. I want to find sounds. I want to control the sounds. I want to be able to layer them or split them if I want. I'll show you that in a second too. You can easily get to them with a few button pushes, but if you want to go deep, you can go deep because it's a full-on synthesizer for editing. Lots of cool things you can do there as well. So scuba diving or snorkeling, either one, whichever you want to do. Let me show you, speaking of I love showing this. Let's start with this trombone swell. Okay, I'm going to show you how cool it is to build an orchestra and just do it from up here. I've done this before in different videos, but I just love showing it because it's really cool. So first of all, I have my super knob here. The super knob has been programmed in this case with this great trombone swell. Cool. So that's already been programmed, and I'm not going to get into huge super knob programming things here. I'm just going to show you how to build an orchestra by adding a strings, a woodwind, and maybe a timpani. And I'll put the timpani down in the low end and split the keyboard, show you how all to do that right from basically right here in this main screen here. So first thing, I want to add strings. So touch on an open part. I'm in attribute single, right? I'm going to go over here to category search. Let's touch on string sections. Let's go get ensemble strings, right? And we'll just grab something like dynamic bow. That sounds like a pretty cool one. I'm going to solo dynamic bow. Actually, I have it selected here. So, but solo. Nice dynamic bow. Yeah, cool. That'll work. Next one, I want woodwinds. So I'm going to go over here to the woodwind category. And I'm going to select something like, let's do woodwind ensemble. I like this woodwind quartet. Let's solo that one, see what that sounds like. So woodwind quartet, bassoons, clarinets, English horns, oboes, flutes. Cool. So what do we have together right now? I still have the swell with the trombone, right? Nice. Timpani touch here. Now I'll show you something else that's cool about the category search. I'm going to go over here to TIMP, and I'm just going to search and find a cool timpani sound. So I started late, I'm going to end late. Now, let me show you something cool here. What I want to do with this timpani is I am going to, first of all, put it down in the lower part of the keyboard. Now, I'm in this second view here, right? And it brings in fact, let me go back here so you can see where I was at. You have the key range right here. So I can set my key range pretty easily. I just select that part, which is where the timpani is, and I touch on keyboard, and I'll just touch on the keyboard, and you'll see it change right there. See? Cool. I like that. So, but in this second view, I have another layer, and this is velocity range. Now check this out. You can see a graphic in here in the screen that shows the velocity where that X is. Velocity is the axis going up and down. And then this is key range up here. And you see where the split point I put. So that's out of the key range, that's in the key range. But what I want to do is I'm going to take the velocity of this, and I'm going to set it to fairly hard. Maybe not 127, but how about 120 to 127? So it's not going to sound until I hit it hard. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use these control knobs. Remember before I said navigation, control. The control knobs do lots of things. They do cutoff frequency resonance, EQ, how about reverb send? And when I select a single part and I turn the reverb all the way up, it turns up the reverb just for that part, okay? If I select the entire performance and I turn the reverb, it sends reverb to everybody. So there's different ways that you can manage your parts inside of a performance. So in this case, all I did was turn up the reverb really loud. So when I hit this, it's going to be this dramatic boom sound. So check this out. Now I've got... building an orchestra. Cool, huh? Yeah? All right. Now, there's lots of sounds in here. Let me just go through a whole bunch of them real quick. How about just cool guitar sounds? Superknob does cool things with this one. Adds more effect. You have these cool assignable buttons here. Harmonics, pretty cool. How about nylon string velocity? If you were a big Motif XF person. Slide velocity. This also has harmonics here. So nylon string guitars. Or how about string section? This one's cool because what this does is... Let's take a look at this performance too. And this performance is 7 parts, all strings. You notice how in the stereo field, because I know I'm in stereo, the stereo field is very wide, especially if you're listening on headphones right now. So down here you have the strings on the left. and the strings and the big in the stereo field, right? Now when I move the super knob, it changes the size of the ensemble and morphs into this smaller section. Pretty cool. So just a few of the sounds. Let me move to another cool thing here. I want to show you something that was added here in OS version 3.5. And this is just some cool... OS version 3 actually added the pattern sequencer. 3.5 added some cool new usability and just workflow upgrades that are really, really cool. So if you're a producer, if you're into making music quickly, this is a cool sequencer to use. The sequencer, it is what I like to call the performance pattern sequencer, because everything, again, works in that object called performance. Performances, again, can be multi-timbral, they can be single instruments. In this case, I'm going to build a groove that is, starts out with a drum kit. We have a cool drum kit right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a quick groove here, and I'm going to add parts, but I'm never going to drop out of record mode. This is one of the cool things that we added to, again, OS 3.5. So we're going to drop into record mode first, and I'm going to turn on recording quantize, because it'll just fix my bad time as I go in. I can start right here, start recording. So I'm in this 4 measure. Actually, let me do it this way and set a brand new... Here, let me try this one more time. Boom. There. Brand new pattern. I was recording over my previous pattern. Okay, so 4 measures long, length. Recording quantize is set to a 16th note. Okay, now I'm going to touch this button here, which is just the record button. And when I hit it twice and it blinks, we're still in record mode, but we're in record rehearse mode. And what that allows me to do is figure out what I'm going to play without actually recording anything. So, as I know where all my drums are. 2, 3, 4, hey! See if I cack that second. That's okay. Coming around again, right? Still recording. Need some hi-hats? Okay, we have a drum groove. I'm going to hit record rehearse again. Now I'm going to touch right here on part 2 and find me a bass. So I dropped into my category search mode, right? Bass. And I'm going to go to electric bass. And let's do, where's my cool, I like this one a lot. Okay, we got something here. Oh yeah, bass line, record rehearse, hit it again. We're gonna need a keyboard. How about this cool octaves? I dropped the octave earlier to get this stuff. Hit it twice, resets it. So now I have. Okay, we got something there. Now I'm gonna record, coming around. Never stopped recording. That'll work. Now I stop recording. Now I drop the recording. But you can add parts now. This is such a cool thing. There's another cool thing I'm going to show you here too. How about just drop in and grab some play effects? So what are play effects? Play effects are exactly that. They're non-destructive quantized templates, basically. So I'm going to turn everybody on to the nearest 16th note here, and you'll see why that is in a second. Remember, I did record everything at the nearest 16th note, but now what I want to do is I'm going to solo my drum groove, and I'm going to increase the swing. Swing, swing. Hear it swing? Or not. Straight time. Swing, 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 swing. Add it. How about adjust the swing velocity? So the velocity of the swing note, I'll turn it all the way down and all I have is eighth notes. Hear that? Now if I bring the swing velocity up, the swing note is ghosted a bit. So it gives it a little attitude. Hey, let's go to the bass sound. That has to swing too. Except I want the gate rate of the swung note. So the swung note will be shorter. And maybe accent it a bit. Hear it? Shorter swing note. Oh, it's so cool. So that whole groove that I did at the beginning, the song that I did it all in this sequencer. It's super easy to do. And the other thing that's cool, I want to talk a little bit about Montage Connect. That's a VST or audio unit that allows you to take a pattern and drag and drop it into a DAW for further editing. So it's really cool. There's this nice connection between the two. Don't have enough time to show you all of that, but you get the idea. It's super, super flexible. Really cool stuff inside this new OS in Montage. Again, ModiX has the same type of features set as well. The difference between ModiX and Montage, obviously, it's a lower cost product. It doesn't have all of this stuff. That costs money to add that stuff, but it's lightweight. It has the same sounds. You can load sounds between Montage and ModiX back and forth, which is pretty cool. You have access to SoundMondo. SoundMondo is our social sound sharing site, soundmondo.com, and you connect it to the computer or to an iOS device, and you can have access to something like 65,000 sounds across about 7 products. So you can upload, download new sounds for Montage or ModiX on SoundMondo as well. And I would really be doing you a disservice if I didn't talk about Yamaha Synth. Yamaha Synth, we have tons of articles, tons of videos. If you want to know anything more about this instrument, go up there. And of course, you can watch the video I did at Kraft when we released Montage, my ModiX video that I did at Kraft. That's right up on Kraft's site, along with, I think, you know, I love Kraft because they're musicians there and they care so much that they have a video of just 30 minutes of me playing, if you can deal with it. But that's so cool. So you really get an idea of how things sound with the videos up on Kraft, and especially my videos that I've done over the years for this amazing, cool dealer that is Kraft Music. So, you know, this is kind of a brief taste of what you can get with the Montage Music synthesizer. You know, I was going to play another tune, and I think I'm running out of time, but should I play another tune? I think I will. I'll play one last little tune. This one's a little different because this one has some samples in it that I added. Let me grab you something right here.
Electric power.
Electric power.
Cure disease.
Another thing that's cool about this, if you want to use things, samples and stuff, you can load them into Montage. Because again, 1.75 gigabytes of flash memory in here is not just for instruments. You can load in.
He grew up with her bears, wind, stamina. She's going to have the gut.
Cool things like that. You can add those and have them as one-shots. This little tune that I threw together here, again, I did this entire thing using just the pattern sequencer. So I'll play a little bit of this and I'll fade her out. You'll hear it. Let's just do that.
Times have changed.
Fight fire with fire.
So, I want
The
to
more
thank
difficult the task may be, the more ready they are.
everybody for watching today on this live stream. Sorry it started a little late. We were having some, the internet. What are you going to do? A series of tubes from what I understand. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, Kraft Music, really appreciate you allowing me coming in here to show you my stuff here with the Montage music synthesizer. Don't forget on the 27th, Adam, it's Brzezowski, right? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Adam. But Adam's awesome. Watch his Modi X presentation that he's going to be doing on the 27th. They're going to be giving away a Modi X6, so you'll definitely want to check that out. And again, check out the bundles at Kraft Music, and thank you so much for watching. This is Blake. I'll play it out.
Each good solid root